Okay, now you'll notice I made 2 copies of this map for a very specific reason. One of them I'm going to take with me. The other I'm going to leave behind so that my wife or anybody else who needs to find me, should I get lost, can do so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my route. This is where I'll be parking, and then I'll trace my route, where I'll be going. It doesn't have to be right on the line. Matter of fact, it helps if it's not right on the line, because then they can see the actual trail as well. And what I had in mind today is I wasn't going to walk this whole trail, it's rather long. I was going to walk till I got around in here somewhere, and then that would be enough, and I would just simply walk back out again. So by leaving this behind, my wife will know where I left, where I'm going to, and the route that I traveled. Now, it doesn't hurt to also put a little bit of information here. I'm going to depart at 8 a.m. and I'll be back by 5 p.m. Now, this will tell my wife everything she needs to know. She knows the location. There's a couple of highway markers on here so that, you know, even if she would hand this to the highway patrol, they'd be able to pinpoint my location and so forth. Now, all things totaled, the route I'll be walking is about 1.5 miles. So by the time I get home, the full day's hike will be about 3 miles total. But I'm not going to be carrying a full pack. It's just going to be a day pack, nothing too extravagant. All totaled, I'll probably be carrying about 5 or 10 pounds. And don't forget, my dog will be helping me with that as well. Now, it's important to know how to read your map as well. There's no scale of miles here, which doesn't help me. Okay? All I know is that the entire route that I was planning on taking is about 1.5 miles. So I'm going to actually keep that in my head and use that as a scale of miles. I need to identify what all these markers are before I head out onto the trail. These little blue lines are springs, are natural springs, but they don't go anywhere. They come out of the ground and pretty much go right back into the ground. You can draw water from them, but you know, you're not talking about a water source that is flowing, you know, to any great length or any great distance. The other thing to notice is these are signs of altitude. Areas that are like solid black, you're going to be pretty much looking down a cliff face. And then areas that are gray are going to be steep, but not so steep that you're going to fall off of them. So it's important to understand what you're looking at when you get a map. Take your time, understand it all. When you blow up a map, there's always a whole blank side that you can write all kinds of information on it for yourself, write all kinds of information for your significant other or your spouse, write all kinds of details about when you'll be there, when you'll be back, so forth. Last but not least, if you're going to do this and blow a section of map up, always be sure to mark your north so that you have a compass bearing on here. Because without that, you could be in some serious trouble, even if you have a compass. And that's how I make a stay-home map for my wife and other people that would be interested in rescuing me. One of them I'm going to take with me. Well, I'm about to go on a little day hike, and I wanted to go over the things that I'm going to pack. Some of the things that I like to take for survival purposes, I'm very choosy about. And this time I may take one item, and next time I may take another. It all depends on the situation. It can be very cumbersome to carry all of these items with you. The first thing you want to start out with is a half-decent pack. This, I've always found this very comfortable. This is nothing special. I think we bought this at one of the department stores in the area years ago, and it's lasted me all this time. Now, of course, one of the first things I would put in there is my sweatshirt, but I'm going to need this morning, so I'm going to just keep that on me right now, and I'll probably put it in last. This is my survival kit. This is basically what I would take with me just for survival purposes. I bought this from a military supply outlet. It is a medic's case for the battlefield. So what I did is I turned one into, this is my survival gear. The next one here, this is my first aid kit. And this one back here, I just use for whatever, okay? This time around, I want to take my toilet paper kit with me. You notice here, I'm not taking any rain gear with me. I am going to take emergency preparations with me. Just a couple of black trash bags, and you do have rain gear. I like to make sure that my survival items have more than one use to them. If your survival items only have one use, then they are very one-dimensional. You can't really use them for much else. So the first thing I carry in my survival kit is a candle. Candles have more than one use. And you notice I put a little tin foil around the outside too, mostly because you can use that as a windbreak. Also to cook food in, also to heat water in an emergency. Tin foil has a lot of uses, but so does wax. Candle wax can be used to seal wounds. Candle wax can be used to start fires. Candles can be used to create light. So there's three uses. Those are the things that I look for in a survival item. Single-use items are a problem because they cause you weight, yet they have a very low return. The next thing is Mylar survival blanket. But again, it has more than one use. It also can be used for shelter. It also can be used as an insulative layer underneath your clothing. You can also make a rain poncho out of this. And then we go to fire. This is a magnesium bar and fire striker. A lot of people will take this out into the woods, never having tried it before. If you have not tried a survival item, do not take it with you. It's useless in an emergency. If you're cold and wet, you would never be able to get a fire going with this if you had never done it before. The idea behind these, you scrape a pile of magnesium off, then you turn it over, and you use this side to strike a spark onto the magnesium. The magnesium burns at 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So you want to really have a pile of this ready to go, get your tinder ready to go, get everything ready to go before you ever strike a light to it. And this is a little tiny pill bottle that I filled up with cotton. These are just cotton for my pill bottles, and I took this little bottle and I just stuffed as much cotton into it as I possibly could, and now I have this for tinder. You take that magnesium striker and strike a light to this is going to go up like gangbusters. Which brings me to another little item. Chapstick. It's medicated, but it has alcohol in it. So if you put that on a little bit of this, it'll actually extend the burning time of the cotton. Two of these items don't have multi-use, or at least you wouldn't think so anyway. This is a little auxiliary battery for my phone. This is about the only medical item I have in my kit. This is a little item I previewed on episode 3 a couple of years ago. It's just a little tiny fan, battery operated. It's nice to be able to pull this out and even just turn it on and you've created a breeze for yourself. I have my pills, Benadryl in here. I have ibuprofen in here. I have acetaminophen in here. I even have a couple of baby aspirin in here. Now I also have antibacterial cream. I have a pair of tweezers, nail clippers, just like a sting relief pen, and I have needle and thread. And of course, I have a little Ziploc bag of Band-Aids. So that's my first aid kit. That's my survival kit. Next is shelter. There are a couple of different approaches that I can take to shelter at this moment. One is to simply take a hammock with me, but if it rains, they're very hard to stay dry on, especially without a nice enough and big enough tarp over top of you. So this is just a little emergency tent. It's made out of PVC. Again, this has multi-use to it. The next thing is a tarp. I can either carry that tent, or I can carry this tarp, or I can carry both, depending on where I'm going. This is an emergency blanket, a bit tougher than the emergency Mylar blankets. This is my jacket. This is a nylon barrier that'll go over my sweatshirt and help keep me warm. A lot of times when you have a sweatshirt or something like that, the air will actually go through it, so you won't feel very warm. This is one of my favorite little machetes. First of all, because it really fits inside the pack very nicely. And second of all, because I've sharpened this on a rock and it still comes out ultra sharp. Listen. When you're working with this, you are advertising. I'm here, I need help, here I am. Here's my little cook set. I'm going to take that because I'm not going to have a lot of time for coffee this morning. And so I'm going to try to have some coffee out on the trail. I want to go out in the woods and I want to test out some equipment that people have sent me. So I have it all here in a Ziploc bag, all ready to go. String. I never go anywhere without string. I bring string so I don't have to rely on the wilderness to actually give me the pieces of equipment that I need out there. Next on my list is protection and warning. Do not spray the bear first. The air horn is to create that shock and awe that usually sends the bear running for the hills long before you even get the bear spray out. I always try to take a little bit of orange with me if I know I'm anywhere near hunting season. And of course, a bandana. I've used them for hundreds of things. Everything from bandages to helping to keep myself cool. So I always have a bandana on me when I'm hiking. These I usually take with me along with my machete. Mostly because if you've ever used a machete or hand tools before, you notice that it only takes a few minutes to give yourself a really nasty blister. Now this is going to be my water container and my purifier. This is a new little item from Grail that I know we want to test out as well. Very hot little item. Last but not least, a foam mat for my little buddy here, and my camp chair. And like I said, there's enough room in the pack to actually put my sweatshirt later on as it warms up. And beyond that is my dog's pack. First of all, I let him carry the map. I actually learned that from the military. The guy who walks in front of you actually carries most of your gear. That's basically so you can access it quickly and economically without having to take your pack off and fumble around for things. Of course, he has his bowls. I also have his collapsible bowl in here. I also have 2 things of water in here for him. These are some punk sticks I have to help keep the insects away. He is my bug spray carrier. He carries all the bug spray that I would need to get quick access to. And this is his wilderness dog run. This is the same wilderness dog run I made for my previous dog, Shio. 2 other items that I have him carry in his pack is my headlamp. Mostly, again, for easy access. And then last but not least is a notebook and pen. Mostly because you can make patrol maps with this. You can leave notes behind with this. With a couple of Ziploc bags, you could leave a trail of notes with this. There's a lot of useful little things you can do with a notepad and pen. But I always keep it in his pack, again, for easy access. It's with my map. Okay, you ready to go hiking? Okay, come on. Help. Stay. No, stay. Help. Good boy. Okay, good boy.
Okay, let's go find a compass. You can't touch the moon, you can't catch the sky, or see my world through your clouded eyes, or see the nightmares buried in my ever-churning soup. I can't remember how or why I came to realize the visions in my head. Is it me I see so wild and free, or am I wasting time conversing